Wonderful. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depends on where you are based. A very warm welcome to day 2 of the 3rd International Conference and POP Festival for Youth-Led Climate Action 2021. We are very delighted to have you all join us for one of the biggest youth-led events for climate action. My name is Komal Mittal and I am from New Delhi, India. The POP family is very excited to welcome you to this session, which will focus on the topic Education to Build Climate Resilience and Adaptation. We are very happy to have all of you join us for this very meaningful conversation. Before we start, I would like to mention a series of indications. Kindly keep your microphone switched off to avoid any background noise. Please feel free to use the Zoom chat to send in your questions. Our facilitators will help us coordinate to respond to your queries. We would also like to share our social media handles to keep you informed about our future activities. You can find the same in the chat. We invite you to use our hashtags when sharing festival content and on to your networks, and if you're posting anything from your account, please use the hashtags mentioned in the chat. Also, you can sign up to be the part of the POP movement using the link mentioned in the chat. You can also sign up for the special workshops organized by POP partners that will take place during the POP Festival, which will also be available in the chat. We look forward to seeing you all and engaging with each one of you through the next 5 days of the festival. Once again, a very warm welcome to everyone. With this, I would like to begin the session by inviting our esteemed panel of experts who are here to shed light and they're experts on the topic. I would first like to invite His Excellency Fekadu Beyene, former Minister of Ethiopia. Professor Beyene holds a PhD in Dairy Technology from Agricultural University of Norway in 1994, MSc in Animal Production from Alemania University in 1987, BSc in Animal Sciences from Addis Ababa University in 1982. As of October 2018, Professor Beyene has been appointed as Commissioner, Environment, Forest and Climate Change Commission of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. He had been Minister of the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries from October 2017 to May 2018, and State Minister of the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Resources of the FDRE from May to October 2018. He served in different capacities at Havasa University as lecturer, assistant professor, associate professor, and professor of daily sciences, and dean of students, academic vice dean, academic program officer of the same university. Furthermore, he was a founding president of Walega University from 2009 to 2016 and also served as a president of Ethiopian Civil Service University. He had worked as an editor and reviewer of peer-reviewed journals, published more than 50 articles in peer-reviewed journals. He had served as instructor of dairy sciences, food science and technology, nutrition, research methods, and related courses at undergraduate and graduate programs, and supervised several MSc and PhD students, and as internal and external examiner of MSc PhD thesis of graduate students of many universities in Ethiopia. A very warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you, Minister. It's an honor to have you here with us, and thank you very much once again for joining. We are very honored to welcome you as our keynote speaker for the session today. And as I mentioned, we have a number of young people from across the region who are eagerly awaiting your insight and your message. Thank you very much once again, and sir, we're ready to hear you whenever you are. Thank you. Sir, your microphone is muted. If I could request you, please. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, dear Dr. Ashpachari, dear youth participants, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. It's a privilege for me to participate on this year's International Conference take our are at the forefront of bearing the devastating impacts of climate change in one way or another. Various dimensions of their lives, including their security, well-being, and even mental health, are being negatively affected by climate change. It also affects the socio-economic conditions in which youth live. For example, in Africa, young people who make up the biggest demographic group and workforce in the culture sector are facing increased the climate change crisis, albeit being fragmented and uneven. At this juncture, it's critical to emphasize the importance of putting resilience and adaptation. Climate resilience is the ability to anticipate people for to events, trends, or disturbances risks. As you all know, Sustainable Development Goal 13, set in 2015, targets to strengthen countries' resilience and adaptive capacities to climate-related issues. This adjustment includes many areas such as infrastructure, agriculture, and education. The Paris Agreement adopted in the same year included several provisions for adaptation. It seeks to promote the idea of global responsibility, improve communication via the adaptation component of the national determined contributions, and includes an agreement that countries should provide some financial support and the technical support more vulnerable codes. Education, I quote, education is the most potent weapon which you can use to change the world, unquote. When it comes to the prevailing challenge relating to the climate change crisis, the importance of this quote is even more apparent. The message is clear as a bell. Climate change education is our most powerful weapon to curb climate change, has long been recognized as a critical component of the global response to the climate change challenge. It's primarily developed from the concern that economic development was having profoundly damaging effects on the natural environment, and its primary aim is the protection and the conservation of the environment, including natural habitats and ecosystems to ensure sustainable development. It helps people understand and address the impact of global warming, increases climate literacy among young people, encourage changes in the attitudes and behavior, and help them up to in increasing adaptation and mitigation capacities of communities, and empower young people to adopt sustainable lifestyle. Now, in the era where creating a climate, the single most valuable public investment to help solve climate change, and educated citizens are essential to driving the technological and the behavioral shifts needed to dramatically improve adaptation and resilience. Recent studies have indicated that students who learn about climate action influence not only their own choices, but their families and the communities as well, signifying the need to urgently empower young people with the knowledge, skills, and the mindset to act on the climate in their families and the communities. However, there is a lack of research that provides an overview of the importance of climate change currently available throughout Africa and developing countries. As we all know, at the global level, the collective response to increase awareness of climate change has been guided by the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change provisions. The convention has clearly recognized that climate education is a key appealing public support for climate-related policies at the national level. To this end, it calls upon all governments to educate, empower, and engage all stakeholders and major groups on policies relating to climate change. In the same vein, the Kyoto Protocol and the Paris Agreement have recognized the underlying importance of climate education to realize the global goal of climate action. In particular, the Paris Agreement, through its article, has recognized the importance to information and asks parties to cooperate in taking appropriate measures. As from the UNFCCC, we have various institutions such as UNESCO, UNICEF, and the World Meteorological Organization that have recognized education as a critical agent in addressing the issue of climate change. However, the practical implementation of these provisions is yet to be seen on the ground, particularly in the least developed countries. As the means of implementation, finance, capacity, and the technical transfer has always been a challenge, impeding progress. Coming to our national context, Ethiopia has 100+ million population, of which 70% of this population is under the age of 30 years. Despite the daunting challenges we have been facing, we have done our best to bring this important segment of our society use to the forefront of national development issues and also climate action. We have also tried to address policy gaps related to climate education by launching Ethiopia's climate change education strategy that runs from 2017 to 2030. The strategy considered as a key instrument to realize Ethiopia's ambition to build a green and resilient economy by 2030 through the climate resilient green economy strategy. While the strategy has an overriding goal of integrating climate change education into the education system of the country, it aims that every school in Ethiopia becomes a champion for building a climate resilient and green economy by 2030 through the following three tasks. One, incorporating climate change into the school system, promoting behavioral change among students, teachers, and the local community, forming informed and engaged citizens. Second, supporting school systems to serve as living laboratories engaged in the implementation of the climate resilient green economy strategy. Third, becoming one of the sources of knowledge and the technical assistance for building green and resilient communities. Furthermore, Ethiopia is working on youth empowerment and education to build climate resilience and adaptation from the grassroots to the national level. We are actively engaging the youth in the National Climate Change Initiative, such as in the Green Legacy Initiative, an initiative launched in 2019 by our Prime Minister to plant 20 billion tree seedlings by 2022. Thanks to the vibrant engagement of our youth, we have managed to plant around 9 billion seedlings in just 2 years, and we are preparing to plant more than 6 billion tree seedlings this rainy season through mass mobilization. Besides, preparation is being finalized to support planting 1 billion seedlings in our neighboring countries. From seedling preparation to the actual plantation and post-plantation activities, the youth have been this phenomenon initiative. Furthermore, we have been launching youth delegates you have been including youth delegates in our national delegation during the UNFCCC climate change negotiations processes over the last several years as part of capacity building and experience sharing exercise. I'm not saying this endeavor suffice when it comes to empowering youth and raising awareness of climate change and enable them voices for the voiceless. We must go through a long journey to get there. It also requires networking for learning and sharing, the allocation of adequate resources, as well as the genuine engagement of all stakeholders. Let me conclude my remarks by calling upon all youth of our world to join hands and become the voice for the voiceless, to build resilience and adaptation to climate change. Thank you again for having me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Minister. This has been such a comprehensive and important talk for all of us, especially as you've touched on not only the importance of the role of youth, but very importantly, the many actions that are being implemented both at policy level and on the ground within the context of Ethiopia, but also I think it has great significance for the youth of Africa and around the world. And in particular, I thought the issue of focusing on climate education is so important because we do need young people to be made more aware from within the institutional system, but also then to be able to support behavior change communications. And I just want to thank you very much for sharing your time and your insights and your experience, which is no doubt extremely invaluable. And I know there are many young people here who want to also engage in discussion with you, if we may, please. But as we start, I wish to seek your thoughts, if I may, please, on how do you think, particularly within the context of Ethiopia and Africa, we might be able to bring in the role of young people, particularly from the point of view of decision making and governance? Is there a way in which there could be more active engagement of young people at and connecting with policy level? And you as a great leader and academic as well, I know you will have some very important insights for us. And there are some interesting young leaders from within the Africa region who are present, and I know they'll also be very interested in hearing your thoughts. So once again, thank you so much for sharing that, and we look forward to your insight, particularly in this regard. For example, we have Samuel over here, who's a great leader, and he's really working constantly on leading change on the ground throughout Africa. He's a mentor and an ambassador of the pop movement as a young leader, and we'd love to hear your thoughts, sir, on how youth can be more involved with governance and decision making and play a part in terms of affecting change at that level. Thank you so much, sir. Once again, it's an honor.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think you mentioned a very important issue that young people need to be engaged both at the policy level and the grassroots level. And Ethiopia has a very good exemplary role in engaging youth at different levels. And now the youth are becoming very vibrant and also taking charge of the reform in the country. They are playing a very critical role. And it's very important that all over the world, the youth must work because the future belongs to them, not only the future, in the current condition belongs to them. So they need to stand up and save our planet. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. That's your endorsement in terms of the engagement of youth and also your experience with witnessing the role of youth becoming more vibrant within the region is key. And with your blessings and your support and your guidance as we go forward, we would really like to promote more action led by youth and leadership within the realm of youth to protect our planet. And I have no doubt with your wisdom and guidance, we will be able to make a difference. And with that, I'm very happy to hand back to Komal, who I think will have a chance to maybe open up to some of the young people who are in the room to engage with you and also share their perspectives. So thank you so very much, sir. We're humbled and grateful. And your time and presence here is invaluable to us. Thank you. And over to you, Komal.
Thank you, Dr. Ash. Thank you, sir. It was really insightful. And yes, climate education is the most important and the most powerful tool to curb the climate change. And we all take your words, and we all are trying our best to empower, uh, to motivate young people through the pop movement and to make this world a better and a sustainable world. And with your permission, I would like to take this session forward. And I would like to know, like, would you stay for the entire session so we can take the questions at the end, or if you need to leave, then we can have the questions from the young people first, and then we can move forward to the session.
Thank you, Komal. Minister, we would like to seek your advice. Would you like us to have the youth present any questions to you at this point, or would you be able to stay till the end of the session? Based on your convenience, we should certainly be able to plan. Okay, I see. So I think maybe we can progress and come on.
Yes. So, yeah. So now we have our very own Samuel C. Okorie, who is a passionate researcher about grassroots and community development. He is a graduate in sociology and anthropology from the prestigious University of Calabar and holds a higher diploma in computer software application from Misericordia Computer Institute. He has an expertise in digital technology, marketing, and sustainability. Samuel has professional recognition as a climate activist and environmentalist and gender and human rights instructor by FIGHR, UN affiliated organization. With over 3 years of professional working experience in development sector on climate and education, gender, social justice, and advocacy, Samuel is a certified climate and health educator. He is a certified community facilitator for women and children and a global youth representative and speaker. Samuel has been a speaker in several global forums like World Sustainable Development Forum, Youth Leadership Network, Earth Odyssey, Vox Media, POP Festival, Mock COP26, UN Climate Change Dialogue, Warsaw Executive Meeting on Loss and Damage, Santiago Committee Network on Loss and Damage to address climate change, advocacy, and grassroots mobilizations, and many more. He is a recipient of Global Leadership Awards, recognition, and appreciations. Samuel is a spokesperson of MOC COP26 and ambassador for UNODC Education for Justice, ambassador for Pop Movement Africa, ambassador for Global Youth Climate Action Initiative, team partner at EcoCity, and Cheers, team lead partner representing Africa on a global campaign Not Yet Recycled by JF Media. Samuel has received a global recognition from over 40 countries. He is a fellow of Federation of International Gender and Human Rights, Guns Leadership Institute, UNESCO Center, Peace Land Nigeria, and an SDG Champion Nigeria 2020. A very warm welcome to you, Sam. Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Your presentation.
Okay, thank you. Before you do that, please hold on. I will give you a consent to do that thing. So
go ahead.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. If you are in Africa, if you are in Asia, if you are in Europe, if you are in America, I'm sending my warm and pleasant regards to you all over the world. And then we are looking at resilience as how it has at climate education on how it has boosted a whole lot of resilience to tackle climate change. And from the context of what the Honorable Minister has spoken, he really made an awesome points when he's talking about youth's role to tackle climate change and also the concept of climate education, which is one of the major tools we need in this moment in time to tackle this global issue. So the context of climate resilience is the ability for people to anticipate and prepare and for them to respond to hazardous events and trends like the droughts, floods, pollutions, plastics and air, and then indiscriminate waste disposals, indiscriminate use of some lightning effects, and also the way people respond to the concept of climate change, which basically has to do with behavioral response to these events. And then one may think there is no way people can change, but there is a whole lot of ways people can change. And looking at behavioral theories from Ivan Pavlov and also an educationalist known as B.F. Skinner, who spoke about behaviorism. For Pavlov, he's talking about behaviorism from the context of observation, why B.F. Skinner is talking about behaviorism from the context of reinforcement. So if people can be reinforced over time positively on sustainable environmental practice or teaching them things on how to promote climate action to mitigate climate change in their environments, it will go a long way using the tool of education. So Kuma, please, I don't know if you could just share this slide for me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So, okay. So applying the concept, this is for POP Nigeria initiative, based on what we've done in time, currently using the concept of climate education to tackle climate change impacts in Nigeria. And then we are hoping that through this model, it can be replicated in other parts of Africa, that people can also be able to adopt and act responsibly with it too. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, Sam.
Okay.
Yes, Sam.
Applying the concept of climate education and advocacy training in local communities will also help build a sustainable solution and network of actors among youths in Nigeria, Africa. Through climate education, children become more conscious of themselves and their environment. They become more aware of the essence of education to the sustainable development of their environment and advocate for sustainable environmental practices in their society. Through climate education, we intend to achieve a peaceful, green, and climate-friendly society with a reduction in global warming. And in global warming, I know our father and founder, Aruke Pachere, was really serious about reduction in global warming to 0.15 degrees Celsius. And then that is what we are also looking at if we try to promote climate education. And then this will go a long way to tackle a whole lot of emission out there. As part of the process to analyze the dangers of climate change and activate youths as actors, as climate actors, leaders and advocates in their various communities across Nigeria and Africa at large. Our major goal is to promote sustainable environmental practice and livelihood while advocating for low carbon option and responsible production by companies and industries through education, advocacy, and stakeholders' involvement. We believe that climate education would serve as part of the adaptive approach to tackle climate change and promote sustainable society for all human race and living species. Please, next slide. So some of our objectives to identify the necessary stakeholders and NGOs on the basis of accessibility and inclination towards engagement. So this is talking about identify with necessary stakeholders, like CSOs and NGOs, to assess them and also to engage them as well as resource people and also actors that will activate their societies and bring about climate justice. To develop youth-based resilient network. Okay, so when we are saying youth-based resilient network, we mean youth-based actors and environmental actors through trainings and collaboration to encourage and support youth-led climate action at grassroots level, which is very, very important. You know, I'm really keen about grassroots. Now, the reason why I am keen about grassroots is there's a whole lot of things going on, and if it starts from the grassroots, especially when it has to do with terrorist attacks, okay? What we are facing in Nigeria today, due to what the insecurity issues we are facing in Nigeria today, if we had educated those at the grassroots of their vulnerability of being used as tool to propagate insecurity, it would have gone a long way to even prevent them from participating in insecurity issues or from participating in a whole lot of conflict attacks. Now, what I mean by that is that if development want to start in a context of Nigeria, they don't take it to grassroots, they take it to already developed cities. But if they want to destroy the country, they go to these grassroots, using them as tools to carry out their propagandas and all that. So if people in the grassroots will be educated on climate change, on climate education, and also be educated as well in leadership, they would take responsibility for every action, and they would desist from being a tool to bring about violence and conflict in society. So we want to develop a tracking database of youth-led social innovation in tackling environmental challenge at local levels, to train youth as climate and health educators and amplify their voices in speaking for the planet, converting chances and enhancing opportunities for common good, to establish and integrate climate education and sustainable environmental practices in schools. Please, next slide. So the POP Nigeria initiative, one of the things we want to use to achieve this is the TOT process, which is also what we are currently doing right now. And then very soon we'll be empowering a whole lot of youths to carry out this process. So I will read out a few of them because we don't have enough time. So the TOT training and workshop was aimed at educating youths, participants on the need for better sustainable society, which is influenced by taking up responsibility individually or collectively to protect our planet. And then the last one is the training ended on a good note because we had the TOT training. So it ended on a good note. Participants made pledges to take the lessons learned from the training and workshop to their individual locations while hoping that we would live a greener, sustainable lifestyle and a better ecosystem in general. You know, I once had, okay, please, next slide if I say what I want to say. So these are the gallery section for the trainings we had, which was really productive. We had the Minister of State for Environment in attendance, and then we had over 50, close to 50 participants because in fact, it was over 50 participants because the participation keeps on fluctuating while people logged in and out and all that. So it was really productive, and even till date, though there has been a cold response to an extent due to engagement, but we are trying to revamp that aspect. Please, the next slide. Okay, so this is our visit to the Honorable Minister of State for Environment, Honorable Barrister Sharon Ikazo, with my team in Abuja. And then as at last week, that was on Friday, I'm a MOCOP spokesperson, and MOCOP organized a visual meeting with Honorable Samuel Onibo, who is who is the chairman for the Committee on Climate Change Bill. And then I questioned a whole lot of things in terms of climate change that I don't know if it was in the bill or not. And then one of the response he gave was that most of my claims are already in the bill. So it was really awesome to know that most of the things we are looking for is on the bill, just waiting for it to be passed. He said that climate education is on the bill. He also said educating people at the grassroots is on the bill. And I proposed something which he said until the bill is accepted, then that will work. I proposed for Nigeria, which I know other African countries can adopt, to have climate change youth envoy in their respective country that will pioneer the affairs of climate change and adaptation and mitigation process, because we believe youths have more resilience zeal to tackle climate change impact because they have the energy, they have the voice, and they have the skill, and they also have the manpower. They may not have the intellectual prospects. That is why we have leaders as well to look up to that will assist us in that regards, just like the ministries and the governments and also the global forum as well. Please, next slide. Okay, so also in Abuja, we reached out to over, in fact, this number is incorrect because based on statistics of this conference, I was meant to know that we had over 500 students in participants, and also we had over 1,500 live streams all over the world, because it was a Beyene conference, global Beyene conference, and SCM of Nigeria is known in the world on World WSCF, which is World Student Christian Forum. So we spoke to these students about our events and also the need for them to take action for their planet and also join the movement which is currently ongoing here in Nigeria. Please, next slide. And climate education. So what is climate education? Okay, so climate change has been and continue to be the subject of public discussion, of public debate and scientific research. Consequently, climate change is constantly taking place in the whole world, and this change will result in impacts whose direction, magnitude, timing, and trajectory is not fully predictable. Okay, yes, we cannot really predict what's next. I don't know if you get, we cannot predict if this is what is happening next or not. Sorry, I'll be fast right now so that others can. I know there's a whole lot of time limitations. Climate change is a shift of climate conditions in a directional increment mode, with values of climatic elements changing significantly. This was a word incited, which I cited Hothing, 1990. Climate change has advanced and has marked over the past years as a result of many factors. Okay, according to the IPCC 2007, it was concluded that most of the observed increase in global average temperature since the mid-20th century is very likely to be due to the observed increase in anthropogenic greenhouse concentrations. And then when you're looking at climate change, you're looking at pollutions, melting icebergs, you're looking at coaling, you're looking at flooding, sea rising, you're looking at gas emission, you're looking at environmental, you're looking at land degradation, you're looking at droughts, you're looking at low income, you're looking at conflict, you're looking at violence, and also you're looking at migration. Please, next slide. So adaptive approach to tackle climate change impact, climate change using climate education. So climate change adaptation is the process of adjusting to current or expected climate change and its effects. It is also one of the ways to respond to climate change. Along with climate change mitigation for humans, adaptation aims to moderate or avoid harm and exploit opportunities for natural systems. Human may intervene to help adjustment. However, without mitigation, adaptation alone cannot avert the risk of severe spread and irreversible impacts. The need for adaptation varies from place to place, depending on the sensitivity and vulnerability to environmental impact and the knowledge of people about climate change in that particular location. Adaptation is essentially important in developing countries using educational approach in schools, since these countries are most vulnerable to climate change and are bearing the brunt of the effect of global warming. Adaptive capacity is also linked to social and economic development. The economic cost of adaptation to climate change are likely to cost billions of dollars annually for the next several decades. Targets at strengthening countries' resilience and adaptation capacities. Sorry about that. Okay. Countries' resilience and adaptive capacities to climate-related issues. This adjustment includes many areas such as infrastructure, which is embracing new technologies, agriculture, which is sustainable agricultural practices that would prevent indiscriminate falling of trees and depletion of lands, especially at riverbanks, and education, inclusion of climate change education in curriculum of schools for designs of workable research. Now, there is need for us to educate, especially farmers. You know, this week I have an interview scheduled with Tony Ronaldo, yes, who is a world-known climate activist, and also has done a whole lot of things when it has to do with regeneration of land, especially degraded lands. So this is my area of focus. And one of the things he said is for us to mitigate climate change and also land degradation, we have to use those people in the community and also empower the community people as well, because the community are the custodians of their lands. And if we don't use the community, then we may end up as well losing the community. So next slide.
Sam, we are running out of time. We have 2 minutes to conclude.
Yes. Okay, 2 minutes. I will round up. So yeah. Thank you. Please next slide. Okay, so sustainable environmental practices, and some of the sustainable environmental practices we can teach people in schools and also in the environment is really awesome because it will help them take action immediately. Okay, talking about climate education with kids and also in school is incredibly important to do. However, it can be really tricky to know where to start from, you know? Yes, when you tell people about sustainable environmental practices, it can be tricky to know where to start from. So it's something we need to keep our kids, we need to make them understand what climate change is all about, and also what to know about climate change and then what to do. We also can teach them sustainable environmental practices using pictures that portrays practices, example of what we are teaching them for easy reinforcement and adaptation. So we have info picture or infogram. So you tell them this is flood and you show them the picture, and also you can tell them plant tree and show them the picture. So it helps adaptation and reinforcement. Please, next slide. And thank you, just be on this slide. Why the last slide also, we can also tackle climate change timely, okay? So timely response to climate change brings about timely action to adaptation and the mitigation process. So some social friendly and sustainable environmental practices for children. We have eat local food at home. We have teach children to value water. I can't really go through all this. I'll just have to, please, next slide. we have recycling, which is one of the most, in fact, apart from recycling, the best way as well is upcycling of plastic waste. We have rent of unused items. We have introducing books about environment early. So we should introduce books about environment to schools early enough. Please, the next slide. I think I'm almost done. And other ways to teach climate and to teach children about climate and educational sustainable environmental practices. You have plant a garden, make laundry products at home, reuse items for crafts, play outside, collect rainwater, make a warm farm, plant a tree, pick up trash, do a water pollution experiment, hobbit, which is the last one, hold it until you bin it. This is something I'm really interested in. Hold it until you bin it. So if we can tell every children in school, hobbit, once they want to dispose something, just tell them hobbit. They'll be like, what is hobbit? Hold it until you bin it. So don't dispose waste indiscriminately. Hold it until you get to the nearest waste basket where that waste has been designated to be disposed appropriately, then you dispose it. Please, next slide, if that is all, I think. Okay, thank you very much for listening, and I really appreciate our time and also our audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you so much. I just want to mention that we all are very much proud of you, and we all see that what you are doing such great things at ground level, and we really appreciate your each and every effort and how you are like making the change in the world by taking each and every small step with young people and motivating them, by motivating them, empowering them. And yes, you, as you mentioned, that behavior change is the key, which you are doing at every level. We really appreciate you, and we all are very, very proud of you. Congratulations, Sam. Thank you so much for doing so many great things to this world.
Yeah, I just have to add to that, Komal. I couldn't agree more. We celebrate you every single day, and really, honestly, Sam, you are the kind of person who will change this world, who is well on his way to making it happen. And so there are no words enough to say how much love, respect, and conviction we have in your conviction. And God bless you and your beautiful heart and your every effort. And I just want to say, it is in fact your heart that is going to be the root of that transformation. You're well on your way to making happen. So just know that we deeply appreciate your being a precious and dear and core of the family, and that we have not only the greatest love and support for you, but we are with you every step of this way. And I have no doubt that it'll happen. I have no doubt you're going to do everything that you've set out to do. I don't have this slightest iota of doubt. So just keep on keeping on.
Thank you. Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much,
Thank
Dr. Ash.
you.
So now we have, yeah. So now we have next Funmilola with us, who on our special request agreed to join us. She is an ambassador from GECCI. I would like to introduce her. So Funmilola, she's an accountant, a proactive young lady passionate about SDGs. She got her AAT certification in June 17, BSc Accounting in 2018, and her ACA qualification in 2020. She volunteered for several outreaches during her undergraduate days. Also, during her National Youth Service Corps period, she worked with the Sustainable Development Goals group for her community development service, where she was trained as a development knowledge facilitator and in turn reach out to secondary school students to enlighten them about the United Nations SDGs and the paths we all have to play to achieve it. She is currently the Financial Secretary of Global Environment and Climate Conservation Initiative Lagos. GECCI has been working tirelessly to ensure raise awareness amongst the youth, most especially starting from our immediate community. She's also a team member and accountant of Stories of Home, NGO, a charity and hope giving organization. She has attended several programs in line with the SDGs physically and virtually to gain more knowledge. We all welcome you, ma'am. Over to you, please. Hello. Hello, Miss Funmilola. Can you hear us? Miss Funmilola, can you hear us?
Komal, if there's a problem and ma'am needs a little bit of time to get things started, maybe there are some questions for or comments or remarks for Sam, and then hopefully we can. My hope is that we can get the audio back
Yes,
here.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. I think we can take questions meanwhile.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah, I have to use a friend's phone.
thank you.
Yes, please.
Okay. So I said good afternoon, good morning, good evening. It's morning here in Nigeria. And I would like to acknowledge the presence of the former Minister of Ethiopia who spoke first, and the presence of the second Minister, Speaker, Mr. Sam, and the pop team and the attendees here. I won't be able to turn on my video because I had to quickly step out of church and I'm kind of in some surroundings. So I hope you could pardon me for that. I would like to start with the former General Secretary of UN. He said something, that's Ban Ki-moon. He says climate change is the single greatest threat to sustainable future. But at the same time, addressing climate change actually presents us with a golden opportunity to actually promote prosperity, security, and a brighter future for all. Barack Obama also said something. He said that we are actually the first generation to feel the effect of climate change, and we're actually the last generation that can actually do something about it. Hence, we can see that we have to do something so that we can ensure a sustainable future for those coming after us. Now, educating young people to build climate resilience and adaptation. Okay, first of all, we know that knowledge is power and information keeps us informed. If you're not informed, you're actually going to be deformed. So education is priceless and it has a long way to go, especially dealing with young people. Now, Africa is among the vulnerable continents, and we're part of those facing climate change. We're not exempted. Climate change is really affecting Africa also, and other parts of the world. But one thing we know that climate change has a very negative impact. But if we take actions according to SDG 13 and in consonance with SDG 7, there will be a great difference and we'll be able to combat it. And that's where the resilience and adaptation comes in. Now, part of what Africa has been facing is the weak adaptive capacity. Because Africa is a third world country and we've been facing some sort of, we have developmental issues and all of that. And we also have high dependence on the ecosystem. Hence, climate change is affecting us really. But no, there are solutions. So there's hope. Part of the things we know is we have to find ways to integrate ways to mitigate and, bring up strategies to manage our ecosystem, our agricultural process, forest reserves, and fisheries. And our water system also. We must find ways to ensure that it's not ensure we find ways to make sure that things go well, so that this climate change we can combat it, so that we can have a sustainable future, not just for us but also for generation coming. And that's where several regions have adopted different strategies from time to time. The African Union brought about 47 goals so that we can mitigate the climate change action on the continent. General Secretary of UN also, brought about a called for a close cooperation with African Union leaders to tackle climate change in accordance with the United Nations SDGs. And planting of trees, as the second speaker said, is very important, because we know that we emit carbon dioxide, and the trees taking carbon dioxide and bring out oxygen for us. So this would help to balance the ecosystem in some way. Now, talking about SDG 13. SDG 13 talks about climate actions. And yeah, we have to take urgent action to actually combat climate change and its impacts. The goals to be targeted, SDG has a goal for 2030 to ensure that people already have knowledge, not just knowledge, but to ensure that we start seeing results by 2030. And part of it is to regulate emissions and promote development in renewable energy. We also have to strengthen resilience and adaptive capacity. We have to ensure we implement the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change so as to promote mechanisms to raise capacity for planning and management. So SDG 13 and SDG 7, they actually complement each other. SDG 7 deals with clean energy, and this would actually go a long way in achieving this climate action and giving us a good future. Now, someone said something. Yes, youth have a very long way to go and a long part to play, because we know that youth are actually the one that are full of action, they have a lot of zeal, and they're always interested in things like this to bring about change. But now, they are not enlightened, they don't know about it. And that's where we come in. Different movements, pop movement, GECCI, and the government, we have to partner with each other to ensure that people understand the effect of climate change if we do not take any action. And part of it is where training comes in, skills, and I would say starting from the grassroots, as Samuel said, from the primary schools, there should be clubs already. People should know about it. Secondary schools, universities, we should have SDGs club, those, dealing with each of the SDG goals. And specifically for this purpose, SDG 13 that has to do with climate action. This will go a long way, because in the young people already have it in them already. They would be enlightened and they will play the part. They already be aware that they have a part to play. Starting from when they eat something, don't dispose it on the floor, find the waste bin, and even sorting your debts. And also, as I said, recycling, rainwater, all of these have a long way to play in ensuring that we have a good climate and ensuring that the future is sustainable for not just us and also the people coming. Future Climate for Africa, FCFA, has been doing a lot of things also. They've invested in useful information and research and development programs to ensure that we are able to combat this even before 2030. FCFA has been enhancing structural knowledge and producing of African countries, working on climate and dealing with African countries for over 5 years. There is a very big need to collaborate with the governments, NGOs, non-governmental organizations, NGOs, and schools to ensure that young people are actually enlightened and know much more about it. We have to work on modeling labs, to test out some of the experiments we found in our research, to try out things. We should also encourage local researchers and also collaborate with other disciplines and continents so that we can ensure that the world is a better place by 2030. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Dr. Ash, would you like to say something?
Sure, absolutely. I'd be very happy to. I just wanted to say thank you very much. I think your presentation was not only comprehensive, but also very inspirational. And I love the fact that you in a very careful and thoughtful and mindful manner, rounded up the experiences of different entities and organizations. And I want to thank you for amplifying your voice, but also want to say that it's exactly you people, and leaders like yourself and Sam and the many others I know we're so blessed to be interacting with, who are going to be key to making a movement of movements, because we do need people like GECCI. We need organizations like the pop movement. We need organizations like many other such groups where we are witnessing young people coming together and taking action. But the solidarity between these movements will be critical in terms of being able to achieve the momentum that we're looking to achieve, and also allow champions to emerge. And I know we have champions in this room with us right now, and you and Sam, for example, are definitely leading this change. So I just want to say that for us to be able to achieve the size and the scale, this will be critical. And I just want to thank you for your commitment and your hard work and initiative in making this happen. I also want to say that you have the strength and the support and the solidarity of the pop movement at every step of the way. And we hope that we'll be able to help in supporting the convening power. But like you and Sam both very clearly alluded to, the importance of grassroots. It's going to be key to have leaders like yourselves inspire the change that I know is much needed on the ground, and in terms of bringing all the young people in the fold, educating them, inspiring them, and also supporting them to lead change together with you. So thank you once again, and I congratulate you, and feel very, very proud, very humbled to be able to learn from you, and also to be able to listen in on your experience, be able to reflect, and then hopefully have the discussion, the dialogue, and then the follow up. I think the most important thing is the follow up. Oftentimes, we have the privilege of spending time together in forums like this, and I think these are important. But then to be able to really see action on the ground to support the follow up on the ground is key. And we rely on your leadership entirely to make that happen. But I want to say, by no means are you on your own. You have our love and you have our support, and you have every bit of our commitment to making it happen too. So God bless you, and thank you once again for all that you are and all that you do. Really appreciate it and admire it too. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Raj. We would like to take more questions from the audience. If anyone would have any question, please.
Okay, just while people are processing their thoughts, I'll share more like a question, opening up to some dialogue, perhaps. And I present this to all of you, which is that I realize that while there's a lot of opportunity, there's also challenge. And I'm interested to hear collectively how, what those challenges are and how we're overcoming them. Clearly, joining hands is a key part of this. So that's why I collectively sort of present this question and ask you to think about it and share your thoughts. And this is really for everyone. I'm putting this out to all of you to ask you, what are those challenges and how are we jointly overcoming them so as to be able to surmount the challenges and prevail. Thank you.
Okay, so may I say something?
Yes, Sam.
Okay, so there has been a whole lot of challenge, and one of the things that makes us strong is challenge. Yes, challenge keeps us going. If just like a preacher said to the Jakes also, okay, no, Joe Austin said, he said, Lord, I thank you for my enemies because if my enemies wasn't there, I wouldn't have risen up to succeed. You know, our enemies could be our challenges anyway. So it gives us the boldness to even face our problems and overcome. And then one of the challenges we've faced in for me here in Nigeria has been insecurity and
Sam,
climate
I would
change.
like to interrupt in between. Actually, Funmilola needs to leave. So maybe.
Okay, Kumar, you're saying?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Funmilola, for joining us today, and we really appreciate your time, and thank you for joining us. We're so grateful to you. Thank you.
Thank you. That's wonderful. It's been wonderful spending time, and thank you very much. And I want to say that Sam, I know it's one of your favorite topics, and so I would definitely want to hear, what your perspective on the challenges are and how they might be surmounted. Because I know you're cognizant of opportunities, but you're also very cognizant of challenges, and I think it's important to have a degree of, sort of consciousness, deliberate consciousness on this. So please, thank you. And over to you and Komal. Thank you.
Go ahead, Sam, please.
Okay, thank you. So for me here in Nigeria, our challenges has been insecurity and climate change, which is more of land degradation. Okay, and giving rise to floods and all that. But looking at the issue of insecurity, it also has to do of climate change, because we spoke something yesterday, and take it or leave it, climate change has influenced and influences insecurity issues. And migration is a big issue here in Nigeria. We have people from the north migrate to the south. And one of the things that causes migration is grazing. So they are looking for where their cattle can graze. Okay, this has been a whole lot of challenge. And if we don't take that into recognition, we'll keep on fighting the wrong cause. And that's what's actually doing. We are fighting the wrong cause. We are fighting ethnicity. We are not even taking note of climate change that has led this migration. So we are fighting ethnicity. We feel is ethnic barrier, regardless of the fact that yes, there might be some ethnic sentiments to this effect. But let's just face the grassroots of this problem. And then another challenge too is when it comes to funding, which is a topic that everybody will keep saying. Yes, is a topic that everybody will keep saying. They have a whole lot of beautiful ideas and there is no funding. And I may just want to motivate someone today, okay? My climate activism with zero funding. My activism with zero funding. Like when I started, there was no funding at all. And I remember when I went to a conference and I told them, this is my idea, this is what I want to do. And the first thing they told me was, wow, we'll support you, we'll give you money, we'll give you everything you need. So when they had a breakout section, they told me, man, we don't have any money to give you. We don't have anything to give you. You just have to work with people force, people manpower, And at a point, I felt like these people, they are just greedy. They don't want to help me. They have gotten to the top and they don't want to take me to the top as well. So only for me to make my own finding and my own observation to know that, yes, I need to work with people. I may not have the money physically, but working with those people can give me what I want. They can give me their resources. They can give me shovel. They can give me hand glove. They can give me nose marks. They can give me rake. They can provide those resources for me without actually getting the money from them. So you see organization tell you, we don't have the money to give you, but we have the technical support to give you. We have the manpower. And I believe that is what POP is doing. Okay. The funding may not come speedily. The funding may not come often, but there is this technical support. There is this advice. I know when I started POP movement, and then often at times I do tell them I need funding to do this, and there is always this words of encouragement that comes and gives you hope that keeps you moving. And thank you to Dr. Ash that always have that right word often at times. So he often gives me this word of hope and this words of encouragement that motivates me and keeps me moving. I remember there was time I was a state coordinator for Global Climate Action Group. I am rounding off soon. And they gave me a whole lot of tasks, but didn't give me any money to execute it. So I had to use my own funds to execute it.
Yeah.
So passion is a key to overcome challenge. So just note that, and this is my quote: passion is a key to overcome challenge. Once you are passionate, I tell people, you are passionate, and once you're passionate, you can do anything for what you are passionate about. I am here, I'm carrying out a Pop Nigeria initiative project here in Nigeria, but I cannot just withstand it to see that I am not doing anything, regardless of the insecurity issues. Though I've been told a whole lot of times, Sam, slow down, but I just feel slowing down makes me weak, because this is what I'm passionate about, and this is what I want to do. Okay, I don't even mind giving up a whole lot of things because of what I'm passionate about, because what I'm looking for is the impact that we sustain, that people can see and be like, wow, just like what we've done in states, what we've done in institutions, what we've done in schools, it will remain, it will speak for itself, because passion created it. And people knew it was not induced or forced, it was natural. So I will encourage everyone out there, for any challenges you're facing, ask yourself this one question: are you passionate to bring about the solution? And if you're passionate to bring about the solution, then the right people will come that will help you actualize it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Sam. I do want to say that, you know, your message itself comes with passion, and I think that, you know, that nobody needs convincing as far as your sense of drive and conviction, really. But I want to also highlight one other thing, which through my journey with you, which I feel so blessed to be able to experience and travel, is that you also have a relentless, undying sense of perseverance. And I've seen it myself. And this comes from a time when perhaps Sam and I had not even interacted all that much. Now the bond is literally, like Sam is an extension of me and I'm an extension of him. But I can tell you this: when Sam and I had interacted, but we didn't know each other so well, you know, he's a man of faith, he's a man of perseverance, he's a man who will, if he sets his mind to something, he'll jump every hoop to make sure that it happens. And I mean, I know we have constraints as far as time go, but I could give you stories, like real stories, and testimony to things he's done. And that was one of the things that absolutely blew me away about Sam. And I can just see the I can literally feel the electrifying energy he would have on the field as he interacts with young people, because I haven't even yet met him in person. So all I want to say is that, you know, really, um, if we could if we could multiply Sam to the 1.8 billion youth of this world, and I know he's on his way to making it happen. And I just want to say that, um, there are few words, because I don't think words can do justice to describing the values that Sam not only embraces, but he lives by, and he exemplifies, and he leads by. So, Sam, more power to you, more goodness to you, and more love to that beautiful heart of yours, because I know that it is that power of love that just keeps you sort of radiating through hail, rain, high water, fire, you name it, and nothing stops you. And so I just want to say, may your may your core be filled to the brim always, because, and may you overflow, because as you do, I know you'll flood the world with the goodness that you have to share. So God bless you, and thank you for sharing. And I thank everybody who's been here with us for listening. And I'm sure leaving not only touched, but moved and lit up with love and light and inspiration. So God bless you and more power. And like I said, you can count on our support and comes from the core. So God bless always. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Ash. Yeah, I couldn't agree more that Sam, thank you for being the light to the world. But I also want to thank you, Dr. Ash, for enlightening each one of us and to bring in that passion, that support, that love for environment and love for each person we work with, for each person in this world. And we just can't thank you enough for be the one you are. You have such a special place in all of our hearts and lives, and we really appreciate you, we really love you, and we just feel that how you create that energy in everyone's space and build each one of us to go further and further in life. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Komal. And all I'm going to say is that my inspiration is my love, and my love is you and our beautiful family. And I honestly mean it. Um, it doesn't matter which part of the globe any of us are on. And like Sam said at the start, you know, we've got people from all over, and it doesn't really matter to me because at the end of the day, we are energy. And I can tell you this, that my every waking, sleeping, breathing, and living moment is about you, and it is about our family. And I believe in you with all my heart. And I know that each one of you has, you are not only unique, but you have a certain gift like no other. And I know you're literally kissing your um, your deepest potential. And and I know that you will recognize yourself as you tap that potential, because that potential is perhaps something that is beyond the realm of your own belief, but I know you have it in you. And my love and my support are with you, each one of you, every step of the way. So I thank you. Okay. And that's the honest truth, because I am who I am, and it's only because of you. So I just want to thank you, and I mean that from the depths of my heart. And I believe in you. So I go from day to day because I know I wake up to you. So thank you all so much for your love, for your beauty, and for being the unique, gifted individuals, energy, and radiance that you are, and light up the skies and beyond. God bless.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so very much for your very kind words. And with that note, like I would like to ask everyone to join the next workshop, which is happening in the different room. And I've shared the link in the Zoom chat. And we will meet here soon, like in around 2 hours for the Sustainable City session. And congratulations to everyone. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much.
More power to all of you. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. Thank you, Komal, Sam, Paula, Ayushman, Priyanka, Drisha, all of you. God bless you.